difficult, and we can't teach everything in the 4-year degree program. Only thing we can do is to train them to handle complex situations. Another important factor, when we were students, and perhaps when people like Professor Anand Jayawardena or Professor Priyantha Wijayatunga were students, we were told them that there's a ratio between engineer, technician, craftsman, and so on. 1:4:16, and so on. We require very small number of scientists, very small number of engineers, large number of technicians, and so on. But it will change. It will change in rapidly as the economies develop. So this is a very important factor, remember. When in the developed world, what is happening is these numbers are getting all confused. The jobs which are handled by, we call them the incorporated engineers, are being done by now professional engineers, because there is some overlap. And the number of engineers required at the higher level are more now because of the level of sophistication. If you go to a telecommunication enterprise, see the amount of sophistication they have. An ordinary person cannot handle that kind of design, even maintenance work. It is so complex. Even electrical engineering, you must have seen the Norochole and so on. So an ordinary person cannot handle that kind of complex situation. You require highly skilled people. So you require more and more, and the type of training which we have to do has changed. So in engineering today, another important shift is that those days, we used to impart a lot of knowledge in our engineering programs. More knowledge and some more knowledge. A lot of information is being poured into the classes. But now, information is available, knowledge is available, but now the emphasis is more on competencies. So professional engineers or incorporated engineers need certain competencies, and that's where we are going to do more work. And as Professor Anand Jayawardena said, we have a well-framed qualification framework for engineering professionals now, or engineering people. One is, the elite group is called the professional engineer. They are the people who are trained under a 4-year engineering degree program, and all the attributes of a professional engineer is given in what is called Washington Accord. Then we have another group of very important people, incorporated engineers. They are trained only for 3 years. 3 years of academic training. This has to be kept in mind. 4 years of academic training, or 8 semesters of academic work. Second category, 6 semesters of academic work. And the third category is what is called engineering, training of engineering technicians. They are generally 2-year diplomas after the GC advanced level examination. And their attributes are given in the Dublin Accord. I will not go into the details because we have a fairly well-defined way of categorizing engineering personnel today, unlike those days. We do not underestimate the importance of any one of these categories. No professional engineer can work without the incorporated engineers and the engineering technicians. It's like working in a team. No consultant can work in a hospital without the support staff, the medical officers, the nursing staff, the pharmacists, the physiotherapists, paramedics, and so on. Similarly, each group is extremely important. I am not saying that professional engineers are above or below any category. All are important. We all work as team players. That's very important to remember. We should not feel superior even though our tasks are superior, because we need the other support staff to carry out these tasks. So I think as the Kothonala Defence University would like to concentrate on the professional engineers, in their curriculum design. We had to remember that in training professional engineers, we are expected to plan, design, implement, construct, or manufacture, manage complex, sophisticated, and solve unknown engineering problems or situations for the client. Now, that is the essence of a professional engineer. We are not going to do ordinary design or simple routine designs, or complex ones, sophisticated ones. No one has done it before. So we have to train our engineering graduates to which will have certain attributes. Why I drew this plan was, we had just started this construction at Ratnapura. From our project, I took a picture from the architects. This building is just at the foundation level also. But the architects have given us beautiful pictures, not only from outside, but even inside. How the labs are going to be, how the classrooms are going to be. Now, this is what we are supposed to do with our engineering programs. We have to tell the market, the KDU civil engineering graduate will have these attributes, this is the profile. These are the things they can do. And it's a reverse process. Those days, when we were students and when people were like 10, 20 years or even 30 years junior to me were students, our professors, our lecturers used to come and lecture. And we thought that, by lecturing these subjects, we will be producing a civil engineer who can design buildings, who can design bridges, who can construct bridges, and so on. So, yeah. So that is not the case anymore. So what is the outcome? We should tell exactly what we are trying to do. And we have to do it with clear ideas. So in conclusion, may I say that for professional engineers, we must have 8 semesters, curriculum, benchmarks to international engineering, exemplars, which is defined, and 3 main important factors if you want to get your degree accredited. They look at 3 aspects. One is high quality student intake. We are having a problem with the current UGC regulations. According to the current UGC regulations, it's 3 S's, isn't it? Internationally, for 4-year professional degree, 3 B's will be the requirement. If we are having some contacts with some of the private higher education institutes which have come up in Sri Lanka, the foreign universities have said, 4-year engineering degree, make sure that your intake requirement is 3 B's, even though the UGC requirement is 3 A's. Otherwise, you have to allow these students to go through the 3-year B.Eng degree. And those who do well can get into the M.Eng. So, of course, Moratuwa and Peradeniya have escaped from this because they have shown the foreign library facilities, the classroom facilities, etc., staff to match up to the international requirements. So, one important thing, those days we used to do the process and expected the graduate outcomes, but now what we do is we define the graduate outcomes or the graduate attributes and then define the process. And then our roles have changed. Those days, teachers used to transmit subject matter, and in the new system, we have become facilitators. And the learner or the student was a passive receiver those days, but today, they are building knowledge through active learning. So, students are supposed to be active learners. So thank you very much.